everyone. We are at Cannabis Expo in Montreal, Quebec, and we are joined now by Alexandre Poulin. Alexandre, thanks so much for joining us.
My pleasure.
So Alexandre, tell us a bit about what you do. I know you do a lot of things, but I would love to hear about them.
I work on two different angles in cannabis, though. So I teach, I'm a cannabis consultant, and then as well I build an infrastructure for extraction. So I work in these two sides. The education side is to make this industry grow in knowledge, to be able to build a similar lingo for everybody to have. So we try to push further the dichotomy between sativa and indica. So that's pretty much my goal in the teaching side. And then on the extraction side is to extract rare cannabinoids and to be able to market them afterwards in different areas, either in the medicinal or recreational side of the business as well.
Really neat, and would love to kind of get more into the course material. What do you teach and who takes the course?
Mainly people from the industry. I'd say it's a course that pretty much everybody can take. If you have like a knowledge in chemistry, obviously it helps a bit in the chemical shape, the biochemical shape we call of the cannabinoids. So basically we start with a historical background of the cannabis since 28 million years old in the Tibetan plateau, from there to the culture in China, 12,000 years old for the fiber, and then we go for the first written trace of cannabis using its medicinal properties in the Pensao 5,000 years ago. And then we move, so why does that work? So we talk about cannabinoids, and then we have a full chapter on it. 10 cannabinoids, not more, we can talk a lot of different cannabinoids, but still, we took 10. And then we move on to the next chapter, which is beyond cannabinoids. We talk about terpene and entourage effect. So we go each terpene, their natural occurrences in the lavender, like different fruits, trees. We talk about the traditional use of terpene. We talk about the documented use of terpene. And we try to set the bar as what we know as of now. What are the dominant theories in the industry and in other industry, like in chemistry and analysis as well, to be able to answer the unanswered question in the cannabis industry itself.
Really neat. And you mentioned briefly at the beginning that your extraction business is focused on rare cannabinoids.
We will focus on rare cannabinoids as well. We, like everybody else, we will extract THC, we will extract CBD as well, but we are looking to extract THCV, CBN as well. They've got wellness properties and medicinal properties, very interesting ones. We still need a lot of clinical trials to apply them to human, but we can still use the traditional background that they have to be able to push a bit further the product development regarding these rare cannabinoids that are occurring in plants now, more than 4% of the molecular mass. So it's becoming interesting to actually harvest plants with these cannabinoids. Back in the days it was less interesting since the occurrence was less than 0.4%. So now the breeders have brought the cannabis to be at this point now that we are able to extract precise dosage of different cannabinoids as well.
Super interesting, and we spoke a bit off camera about what Leafly did last week, but we'd love to kind of get into getting beyond the indica-sativa distinction and how you think people will identify with cannabis moving forward.
I think it's going to be the future of the industry. I was definitive about that 2 years ago. I'm still definitive about that today. The move of Leafly recently, they moved to change their whole marketing approach for cannabis. So they developed a system with shapes and colors to approach the variety of cannabis effects you can have. So different colors represent the terpene, different shapes represent the cannabinoids. I found it's a genius move. I didn't expect that move that early in the industry. I was amazed to see that, because that's exactly what I teach in the class. I say, Sativa indica, I say where it comes from. It's Jean-Baptiste Lamarck. It's a botanist he was destroyed by Darwin. So it gives you a good place in the history where it was. So this dichotomy is aged. It works for marketing purposes, but it's not educational at all. So we need to go further to educate the people so they will be able to choose their product better as well. So that's the course. The main purpose of the course is to be able for professional as well as consumers to be able to choose proper product for the effect they are looking for and the posology they need as well. So we talk about dosage, we talk about product, we talk about molecules, and we talk about as well a way to mix them together. Because I've got a sommelier background, so I develop cards of terpenes that I match with different kind of beverages, food as well. So I give some answers to people that wants to do elevated dining, making cannabis sommelier as well. So that's the base of it. I think it's the course that I wanted to have 3 years ago that I built now. So it's to be able to give the people the chance not to step on different in puddles like I did for the last 3 years. So I give the general knowledge that I acquired.
You've got such a great lay of the land in cannabis. What I'll ask you is probably going to be really hard to answer, but if there's one thing that you can say that excites you the most about the industry right now, what would that be?
That'd be actually the studies about the new cannabinoids, the new use of cannabinoids, going further CBD and THC, exploring, going clinical trials. I think now with the team of Raphael Michulam in Israel, we're looking forward to a serious industry with clinical trials, with real data. And that's very exciting to jump into that industry that's mature enough to give you right information about technology, about product, about chemistry. Now all these people are talking together and they're speaking the same language as well. And that's what I want to be able to give in Quebec as well, the language. It's very important to be able to speak the same language. We won't spend half an hour defining what we're looking for. We will already have the same basis. So the course itself offers the actual most recent theories on cannabis nowadays at the moment that I give the course, because I modify it every day, this course.
Yeah. And you mentioned before that you were a chef and a sommelier before?
Yeah, I used to be a chef. My first career was chef and sommelier as well. I still practice a bit of sommelier here and there, mainly for particular events, but I'm very looking forward to for the legislation to be a bit more, I'd say, subtle, more loose, I'd say, to be able to make sommelier with cannabis itself, because it's the future. We see it in Oregon, we see it in California. The future of cannabis is experiential. It's linked to other products as well, like wine. It's cannabis as a terroir. Cannabis is an image of its producer as well. So people want the trackability of the product, and I'd say the industry is going there. We want to see the face of the people, or the person that grow the product. We want to be able to know the product by the smell. We want to be able to match the product. We want to be able to have a full experience of it, and that's the future of it, I think.
Cool. And last question. What's your favorite cannabis-infused dish?
Oh, that's another question. I like cannabis cocktails very much. I do nice tonics with different kinds of botanics, so I'm able to orient the effect with other terpenes that I go and take in different spices. So I'd say like beverages, the versatility of the beverages gives a very good way to introduce yourself to cannabis as well, and it's very fun to use, either in THC, CBD, different form. I'd say beverages is very interesting, but in the food side, I love a nice crème brûlée with chamomile and a nice cannabis as well. So you can use the terpene in chamomile to match, I'd say, a Skywalker OJ, and you can make a nice crème brûlée with it, and it's wonderful. And that's what we offer in the course as well. Like people get out with tools to actually make these things at home, or even to commercialize or develop product with these knowledges.
It all sounds delicious, uninfused. I can only imagine how much better it is infused. Thanks again for joining us, Alexandre. Really appreciate you taking time.
My pleasure. It was a pleasure as well.
Thank you.